Hey there, welcome back to Refundo's YouTube channel. And in this video, we're gonna be covering around 3 things that are very, very important for tax pros to be safe. And it's gonna cover everything around cybersecurity, passwords, encryption, and MFA. I gotta be honest with you, I don't know much about this. And so I'll be kind of asking a lot of questions that I think you guys as tax pros also have. With me, we have
Teresa Franske, Chief of Cybersecurity.
Herman Torres, software engineer.
So we're going to be very well taken care of. These are cybersecurity experts. These are our heads of cybersecurity here at Refundo. And they also lead the product development of CBEN, which is our new cybersecurity solution. So make sure that you check that out in our links down below. But let's get into it. The first thing here that I want to kind of cover is how secure are your passwords, right? Like, you know, some of us may use the same passwords across devices and things like that. So tell us a little bit about like why are passwords so important? How do we strengthen them? What are the best practices? And maybe some things that you guys have seen that tax pros may be doing that we shouldn't be doing.
Well, I mean, your point to using the same password over and over again, awful idea. Okay, awful idea. And really, because if one password is breached, think about that. That thief now has access across the board to anything that you have. You know, and they have also the complexity of a password.
Yeah.
If it's too simple or too easy, or if it's linked to your personal information, if your personal information's out there, that password is very easily figured out.
Yeah.
And there's tools to be able to do that. Yep. And so, I'm sorry, you were going to say
something?
Yeah,
so I think that a lot of times for tax pros and business owners, because maybe they have team members or different devices, I think that it might be just easier for them to be like, oh, for my tax pro business, this is my password, you know?
Don't share it.
And so these are probably the thoughts that they have. So how do you manage a password? Like, how do you keep up with all of that? Because I have mom brain and
I think a really great way to do, and I use a password manager.
Okay.
And I love it because I only have to remember one password.
Got it.
That's it. It's a master password for the application and it's free.
Okay.
I downloaded it on my Apple phone. It's a free application. There's a lot of them out there. And it will not only create very secure passwords for you, but it maintains them in a secure environment, right? So you go on your site, you don't remember, you put that one password in, there's your password, that's it. And it's secure and it's safe and it's free.
Love it. What is that password management software?
Well, one of them is called Dashlane.
Okay.
So it's free up until so many passwords, and then you would have to pay. But I mean, I want to say it was close up to 50 or something that you could have passwords up there. But also make sure that the password manager does have multi-factor authentication on it. Okay, because that even makes that application that much more secure.
That makes sense.
Yep.
What are some of the best practices to build a safe password?
I think having a long length, mixed with different characters, numbers, uppercase letters, lowercase letters, just mixing it up.
Yeah,
it will be the kind of the best way.
Not
the best
1, 2, 3, 4.
No. Like password as your password is not a good password. Password 1, 2, 3 is not. Those are like the top. And then the top 10 of passwords that are used, and God forbid that you are found and that your accounts would be hacked at that point, and they would have the bad guys would have access to that.
Phrases.
Yes.
Phrases are easier for you to remember, harder to hack.
Okay, that makes sense.
I love somebody, or today is, or some kind of a phrase or a thought, something that is not easily figured out.
Yeah.
And that is typically the stronger passwords. Yeah. And of course with the length.
Yep, and if you start like kind of sprinkling the different characters, different numbers, maybe substitute a certain number for a letter, then you can start adding more complexity in there. Because as Teresa mentioned, there's tools out there that do a methodology called brute forcing. So they have basically a dictionary of the top passwords used, and password 1, 2, 3 is on them, that will try and attempt to log into an account with all of these passwords that they gathered. And those passwords that are very easily cracked, they're already on there, and they'll get into your systems very fast.
And I think that tax pros might be like, why are we creating a video on like passwords, right? But this point right here that you're making, that there's literally like organizations or groups that know the psychology, like they know that you're gonna put 1, 2, 3, 4. They know that if this password actually was cracked, there's a possibility that this is the same password. Like they know you, they know how you behave, they know how you think, they know what you could potentially be doing, like. And this is why it's so serious, right? Because you have people out there who know you and how you behave online and how you manage your passwords and your security and now like add on the layer of the fact that you are a business owner, and then add on top of that the fact that you're dealing with super sensitive data like social security numbers. I mean, this is the reason why we're covering passwords, right? Like it's not really a topic that, we would think right off the bat it's interesting or fun, but it's so important to protect your tax pro business and protect your clients' data as well.
Yeah.
It's a simple solution. It's a very simple solution, just to make it a little more complex, and for people expanding their footprint online. You have so many more passwords. A simple solution is a password manager, right? And a password manager.
Got it.
It helps you keep that all together, so it's not so overwhelming.
Yes.
And I'm glad Teresa brought that up as well, because there's different websites have different requirements for setting your password as well. So not every single website is going to have, you have to have a 12-character password. You have to have a 8-length password or 15-length password. The password managers can also help you manage those links as well. So if a website only lets you do 6 characters, and if you're using that sort of website, don't be using those websites, because then they're setting you up. But you can set certain requirements, certain criteria, and then the password will be generated for you. Yeah. And then it gets stored in that password manager.
What also is very easy, you have the option to make your own in there, but what it does show you in there, it shows you the strength of it. So let's say you start typing in and it says, not so good. And as you start adding to it, all of a sudden it tells you how strong it is. Then I have something good. Yeah. I have something good.
And don't be like some people that just because it says like it's not so good, they don't care. They just kind of like, like, I'm just, don't be like that. Take the business seriously. Take cybersecurity seriously. So the next part or the next piece here is encryption. And again, guys, I have no clue about encryption or anything like that. This is why we have these beautiful people here with us. What is encryption, and like, why should a tax pro care about it?
Sure. So let me give you a visualization. So imagine I'm writing something down on a piece of paper, and then you have a code. And then I pass it to you, but Teresa intercepts it. She can't read what I wrote because she doesn't have that code. She doesn't have that key. Yeah. She to her, it's just garbage. But then if you get it, you have the code, you can unlock it, then you're able to decipher the message that I sent to you. So that's kind of encryption in a nutshell, of having it basically jumbled up. And if you have the correct key to unlock it, then you're able to see what the message is.
Okay, and real world application for a tax pro, what does that look like? So, you kind of gave me kind of like an example, but like for a tax pro, what does that look like?
So there's 2 methods of encryption. So you have encryption at rest and then encryption in transit. So if I'm sending information over from point A to point B, that's encryption. And encryption in transit is the pipe there is protected.
Like an email.
Correct.
Yeah, like an email? Yeah. Okay, got it. Okay.
And then encryption at rest is data that is stored on a drive, a hard drive, cloud storage. So that is just there. It's not moving anywhere. It's just stationary. It's parked.
And it's encrypted. It should be encrypted.
It should be encrypted.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay, got it. So how does a tax pro make sure that things are encrypted, both as they're sending data and storing data?
Well, one of the examples that you brought up was like an email.
Okay.
Right? Most emails have encryption services. And so you can choose that right on the home bar, is to encrypt that email, right?
Okay.
All right. If you have documents on your laptop, a lot of times you have the option to encrypt those documents, secure it with a password. And then there's also different types of software in different ways that could encrypt the data in transit. But then let's say you are somebody who likes something tangible, something in your hands, and you say, okay, I'm going to back up my laptop on this little, external drive, and I'm going to save it all. If that's not encrypted, anybody that gets that, like Herman said, will be able to read everything on it.
Got it.
If you encrypt it, then it has that code on it. So if you get it and you're not supposed to, and you try to plug that into your laptop, you won't be able to read it.
Got it. Okay, so let's go back to like the FTC and the IRS and how they want us to be secure, the tax pros. Like if these things are not encrypted, it's obviously the tax pros' responsibility to make sure that they're encrypted. So like, are you saying that the first thing that they need to do, like the first line of defense, is encrypting emails, making sure that whatever the URL, we'll probably want to create a guide, to be honest with you guys, that we can give our audience on how to make sure that they do this. But what is like the first line of defense for tax pros specifically?
Yeah, so I think one that Teresa mentioned, right, for the email communication. So typically most email services already have some of that set up.
Okay.
You just have to verify that it is set up, that you're using it. So you can actually look at the address bar, and at the top, if you see HTTPS,
yes,
right, that's hypertext transfer protocol secure.
Okay.
That's encrypted in transit.
Okay.
So that email would be encrypted on the way from the sender to the recipient.
Got it.
Correct.
Got it. So that is kind of like the first line of defense. Obviously, making
Absolutely.
sure that if you have an external hard drive, that is encrypted. How do you encrypt something like that? Is it like, do you purchase it on the store like that? Like, how does that work?
Sure. Yeah.
Don't laugh at me, Herman. I don't know.
No. I'm agreeing with you. No, I'm saying that's great. So there's multiple ways. One of them is sometimes some of these new hard drives that are coming out, they already have that software.
Okay.
That already comes with it, and then you just have to do a setup in order to get it encrypted however you want it, and at a certain level that you want, because there's different levels of encryption as well.
Okay.
Or there's software that'll do it for you. And there's multiple pieces of software depending on your operating system that you're using as well in order to get those encrypted.
Got it. Something that I really like about Steven that we're actually doing is that we have something called Steven School, and we will be basically updating you with a lot of information. We'll give you like information coming from the IRS, any updates and things like that. But things like this that they get very technical but are super important for tax pros. This information is also going to be available for anybody that actually purchases Steven. And so it's not just the training that you get, but it's also like this bank of knowledge also that you will get. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is MFA.
Okay.
So tell me what MFA is.
Multi-factor authentication.
Okay,
Right?
what is that?
It's like it's just another layer of security.
Yeah.
Right? Think about you building your house, right? You want to have those different layers of security in order to be safe and secure. And multi-factor authentication is one of those ways. And it's really around the theory of something you have, something you know. So
Okay.
something you have is like your phone. Right?
Yes.
You have your
Okay.
phone.
Yep.
Okay. Something you know, that's your password.
Password.
All right. And something you are, that's like a biometric. You know, when you
Wow.
open your phone up and you do the picture?
Yeah.
And you do that, that's something you are. So when you do your username and password and it asks for multi-factor authentication, sometimes you'll get a code to your phone.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So that's something you have.
Yeah.
Right? Or maybe you'll just have to do a biometric. You'll just do your picture.
Okay.
That's something you are.
Got it.
As long as you're using at least two of those factors, you're good to go.
You're good to go.
All right.
Okay.
And it's just a simple, like I said, multi-factor authentication is used on so many sites and so many stores and applications. There are applications you can download, again, free applications that you can get on your phone that can do multi-factor authentication for you.
Love that.
And it's just another layer of security. You know, it's like when you're locking your front door, you don't want to leave your back door open.
Yeah, makes
Right?
sense.
So you want to make sure both doors are locked. So
Yes.
this is just another way to make sure that you're safe.
So between a strong password, encryption, and MFA, these are like the first three kind of lines of defense.
Very foundational.
The very foundational
Yeah,
things
yeah.
that we need to kind of get together.
Absolutely.
Especially because, tax season is coming up, guys. So let's
100%.
make sure that we get all that sorted out. What would be the next steps if somebody is watching this right now and they're like, oh my gosh, okay, passwords, encryption, MFA, what would you recommend to be the next thing that the person does?
You mean in terms of
Like, let's say they're watching this video right now and they're like, okay, I definitely need to get my stuff together. What would you recommend that person to do? Like right after this video?
go to Steven.
Okay, so
.com.
refundo.com
Refundo.com.
/Steven. We'll put the link down below. And why? Why is that?
Well, because we have that layered approach.
Okay.
We have antivirus software. Okay. We do the threat monitoring. Okay. And we monitor your laptop, your machines, your data 365 days a year, 24/7. right? And all of that is there. We do the threat monitoring. We give you the training that you needed. We do the phishing drills. We also, the WISP.
Yes.
We have the WISP, right? With all of that added document and all that added context. We are there for you to really kind of simplify this process and make sure that you don't have to feel like you're overwhelmed or have to think about it.
Yes.
We provide that to you. And you mentioned the communication platform.
Yes.
That platform is there for them as well, to have the additional educational information, ask questions where they might be stuck, and to have that interaction not only amongst themselves,
but with
to see what they're
actually
doing,
true cybersecurity.
but with cybersecurity folks as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you would be compliant once you get the SIM.
100%.
You would be set. You would go.
Okay, so if a person's watching this video and they go to refundo.com/4Steven, is there any special code that we may want to give them just because they're watching this video and they're
don't have the code on me right now.
But we'll put it in the description box. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. We'll make sure that we'll give you a discount code. So in the description box, make sure you copy and paste that. Go to refundo.com/4Steven and get yourself compliant and secure. See you in the next one.